Who is Margaret Jerry Ngigi? Me, myself, here. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram as Sherry, or I prefer Sherry a lot. I don't like my English name. Sherry is from Jerry. That's what most people know me as. So you may see some places Sherry Ngigi, Margaret Ngigi, Margaret Jerry Ngigi. That's all me. Yeah, I am an alumni, as they said, and I mainly took this short course. They were offering a short course then. This is in 2015. I had just moved to Nairobi after high school, so I was in KU doing, I was doing a diploma of fine art. I've always been an artist, honestly. I've always been an artist, I guess. And so I had that passion of doing fine art and all that, and that's what I was doing in KU. I was doing a diploma of fine art there. That is painting, ceramics. What else did we learn? 2D, graphics, works, hapa kule, vitu kama hizo. So long holiday, the first long holiday I had, I was like, I'm not, kwetu ni Mombasa, so ingebidi nimeenda Mombasa 3 good months. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go back home. And honestly, I was just looking for an excuse to stay in Nairobi. And that's why I told my dad, you know, I think I have an interest in photography. And at that time, I really didn't know if this is going to be the path. It was just more of exploring, hobby kind of thing, passing time kind of thing. And I took the short course, which was really amazing. And yeah, as Asha was saying, this is a whole community thing. We are still in contact with everybody until now. It's just been a great journey. But yeah, 2015, this is 6 years later. Here I am. Here I am. Maybe we can look at what exactly is fine art photography. Photography is a really, really wide umbrella. I think everybody gets in it, and then you decide the path that you want to stick on, or what is good for you, or what you're good at, what brings you an income, and all that. So yeah, this is a definition that I found online, that it's a style of photography created by an artist. For you to call yourself, there's art, there's the word art there, definitely. And I think we call ourselves artists. So yeah, I think if you're a fine art photographer, you're an artist, definitely. Fine art photos are photographs created purely for their aesthetics and imaginative qualities. And then they're created, the work that goes beyond just capturing what is in front of the camera. There's a lot of thought process behind it. There's that purpose. And yeah, it's an artist's very, very personal interpretation of a situation that may be very different from reality. So yeah, there's that. People like to say, you know, you have an art eye, or you just have an eye for seeing things. I think for commercial, when you're talking about commercial photography, you've mastered the technical side of it, or you've mastered the whole style of shooting. The basics, light, composition, rule of thirds, all the good things that you should know about photography, and then maybe you're just doing it to take good pictures, to give to clients, to make money out of it. There's all these different purposes that I think will differentiate what exactly you're shooting. If it's photojournalism, you're going to shoot it to tell a story, to document a story, or yeah, to report some news maybe. If it's there's all these categories, and I think with fine art, it goes back to the person who is taking it, why they're taking it, what is the story they want to tell here, and you know, what are these other visual elements or aesthetics that they are imposing in the photograph. And yeah, fine art photographers, we kind of do different things. And there's a lot of times it's not the normal things that you may see. They involve a lot of conceptualizing stuff. And yeah, like for me, myself, my work revolves around women a lot. Those are the kind of stories that I like to tell, and I think, okay, we'll get to it. There's a part where I explain inspiration. You can go to the next slide. So yeah, coming to the creative process. Okay, yeah, all this work that I used here is my images. So yeah, there's 2 images. That's a whole body of work I did from 2019. and it's called Wrapped Up in My Head. It's the style or the props that I was using was wrapping people's head with bandages and implementing different kind of things. They had the flowers, some had a throne, a crown, some had just sticks on them, but all of them had a bandage involved. And what was inspiring me at that time was the topic of mental health. I wanted to I think a lot of times with artists or with fine art photographers also, we come back, we're inspired by our environment a lot. You will see, I don't know, I think this is a basic, is it a basic starting point for a lot of artists? You know, you look around you and those are the things that inspire you. Even though not near you physically, but if you're online a lot and there's a topic that interests you, that's still part of your environment, I guess. And so the whole body of work was revolved around mental health, and that's why it felt very, sometimes how you can feel suffocated by things, but then outside it seems very, very rosy. And those are the things that were inspiring me to use all these elements or aesthetics to bring those images to life. And it's very, very common for a lot of fine art photographers to shoot in black and white. That is something that I saw a lot. But yeah, it goes beyond black and white, definitely. I think something very interesting and why we love black and white as fine art photographers is, you know, when you eliminate color, and for you to, what is inspiring you is to maybe trigger an emotion or to inspire, you just want to trigger something out of people when they see a certain image. And for me, color sometimes can be a distraction, sometimes. So like for these images, the whole series is black and white, and I thought that just makes so much sense for it because it's just purely black and white. There's no other distraction. You're just looking at the props, how the model is posed, and then the lighting is kind of moody. There's those contrasts, and then it's just you and the emotions that this image brings along. Maybe that's a common thing with fine art photographers. You'll see a lot of them in black and white, but it goes beyond that, definitely. So what I found as part of my creative process is these three things: the visual style, and then we'll get to how you can find inspiration, and then how to navigate working as a fine art photographer. So sorry, it's the vision, not the visual. I don't know why I wrote that, but anyway. So what is the vision? And this is me. I think something very interesting also to note with how I practice fine art photography or how I practice being an artist is, I know maybe right now we want to learn from the perspective of being behind the camera, but I think sometimes you can also direct a shot. I think yeah, photography isn't always about who is pressing the shutter button, but who is creating the image. And yeah, that's why there's that. I don't know, I'm the photographer, I'm the artist, but then I was in front of the camera. It was a self-portrait thing, and I had an assistant on set and all that. So anyway, what is the vision? The vision is the way you experience yourself, life, and the world you live at. And you know, yeah, this is something that I found very interesting, and I put there. You can buy the best gear, but you can't buy vision. And it's something acquired through studying the work of the masters, practicing, but mostly looking at the world, or just looking at the environment, how you understand things. This is your world view of things. You know, how you process society, how you process, you know, education that you learn and all that. How for you things make sense, how you process the world, and how the world works for you in your eyes. I think that's one good way I can describe what a vision is. And it's highly personal and cannot really be copied. Again, it's your world view. And then it's an attitude, a belief, a feeling, a way of thinking. It should convey a feeling, a comment, a statement. Your vision is directly connected with your answers to questions like how I see the world around me and what I feel when I photograph it. What are the feelings I want to express with my photographs? What I love, and how can I communicate my feelings about my subjects? it goes back to you only, and that's why you cannot really copy somebody. I think you have to be really, really, what is it, a very smart person to be able to copy somebody else, A to Z. You know, the world can only be viewed through your eyes, and so even if you try and copy somebody else's style, it's still gonna be always different because you're looking at things differently and all that. So this is what ideally a vision is, and this is something very, very important when you're practicing fine art photography, because it's always gonna be seen. It's always gonna come out or stand out with your work. Like for me, with my work, for the last 6 years, yes, I've been creating works, yes, around my environment, the topics such as mental health, women, and the position of women in our society, how we view things such as feminism, the patriarchy, things like that. You will see all my perspectives in my work. So this is why vision really plays a huge role with fine art photography, because again, fine art photography is very, very personal. It's your own view of things and how you're viewing the world. It's always gonna come out. And this is something you must understand, what your vision is or what your worldview is. So the next thing is style. This is the same series. It's a new body of work. I haven't really posted it on Instagram, but I had a solo show with it online. So still self-portrait. The whole series was done in Mombasa at the beach. Yeah. So well, what is style? What is style? It's slightly tied definitely back to vision, with how you view things and how maybe you like to do things. But this is more, I think I can say this will involve more technical aspects on how you like to do things. There's how you like to understand them, how you view the world, how you view things, but then how you like to do them. This is where style comes in. And this is defined by the way we express ourselves, not only in art, but also in life. The way we dress, speak, work. It's the visual we use to express ourselves in pictures. If you try to mimic another person's style, it may not look so natural, because everything works for different people. Again, it's about expressing yourself through your own personal language, symbols, techniques that represent and differentiate you from other artists. Again, expressing yourself through your own personal language, symbols, and the techniques. This is now, we're getting to action, how you're doing things. And the type of light you use, the subjects you portray, the post-processing tools, equipments, and so on. All these are elements of your style. Yeah, so this, I think, when you're talking about style, it's gonna come back to more technical things and how now you do things practically. Again, how you light your subjects. Some images, you can see some photographers' work and you can tell by how they are lighting it. This is somebody else's style. How they've edited it, maybe they love using noise, or they love using a certain filter or color grading system, things like that. So you must have a definite style. I don't know if I have mine, I don't know. I think it's always evolving. I don't think we should always stay in one place. You keep on living every day and you keep on seeing things differently, and I think you can have different styles. Yeah, like with the Wrapped Up in My Head series, that was very dramatic lighting, low key. But then as I grow, I try to expand my brain and I try to do other things and all that. Yeah. So how do you find inspiration? I think this is something that a lot of people ask me. Because yes, you have an idea, or maybe idea iko lakini iko kwa umbali, alafu unashindwa, okay, how do I make sense of all this? Yes, something triggers your emotion, something triggers you, but then how do you make sense of it? And how do you even implement it? How do you, yes, sawa utapata inspiration, where do I start? Where do I start making this actually happen? That's another, that's another whole thing. Because with other genres, maybe with like weddings, corporate events, studio portraits, baby bumps, family, the subjects are there. Maybe they come to you. The wedding, the event is already happening. You go to them, that you shoot your story in Eshiapo. but then you are a conceptual photographer, you're a fine art photographer, you have an idea. You want to address the issue of police brutality. Maybe even at topics such as simple as love, you want to address it, you want to talk about it, but then how do you conceptualize it? How do you bring it to life? That's quite, I don't know. I always say vibes, inshallah, you know, nayo too. Let me just go experiment this. Like with this shoot, it was a shoot, and mostly what I got from this was a film. I was doing a short film, and I had seen this image like 3 months before. I just wanted to do an aerial shoot somewhere deserted, and they wanted a couple in bed because the whole story revolved around love. And yeah, I saw that image before, and I think this is something a lot of artists or photographers do. You see the image before, and then you try and do it. Now you try and actualize it, and that's what happens a lot with my work. Sometimes you may think about something, you may visualize something, but then when you try to do it, it doesn't go the way. And I think we should always remain open-minded. I try to remain open-minded when going to set. I'm like, you know, yes, this is what I've planned, this is what I'm thinking about, but then things may change. Unaweza fika hapo, try kufanya kitu, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't work the way I thought it would. And so when we are trying to bring our ideas to life, I think it's something very important that we try and remain open-minded with things, how they can change, and how I think for me it's never really done until I'm done editing, because even when editing, a style may change, and you may pick an image even that wasn't really on your mind, but then it made sense, and it kind of changes the whole direction of the story. And yeah, so with such an image, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm too ambitious. With finding inspiration, yes, I try and write something, or you try and do, what do you call them, mood boards. You try and plan, and still stay open-minded, because things might really change, and you don't really know. So another thing, when you are trying to look for inspiration, there's no need to travel to exotic places to find exotic themes that will impress your audience. Fine art is about you, not about really the subjects. Again, it's about the photographer and how you are seeing the world and how you want to bring it out in your portraits. That's why we are saying it's about you mostly, not really the subject. You are the one who's going to control the subject if you're doing like portraiture, like my kind of style. So it's about the ability to create a mood, convey your feelings to the viewer. Even the most uninteresting, boring, and the negligible object can be converted to an outstanding piece of art. Fine art photography goes beyond portraiture, definitely. There are people who do fine art photography with still objects. And yeah, I have a friend called James Morioki. He shoots the most, we can say, weird things. Like you can walk to his show or his exhibition, you will see a piece of a tomato just hanging. Nyanya tu ilikuwa tu hapo imelala. That works, that is his eye. There's kuna building, maybe on a mjengo inajengwa, you know. And when you sit with him and he explains to you all this inspiration, it makes so much sense. Meaning, it doesn't have to be so complicated. Yes, maybe somebody may see this image and they'll immediately get the message. But sometimes it's okay to be, if you're just different and you are viewing something in a different way that somebody else may not immediately get, that's still fine. You may explain it to them and they'll understand. Yeah, again, it's about you. Don't try and really, copy or borrow from somebody else so much. Come back within, look at your environment. Whatever really inspires you, nayo. I think fine art photographers will break the rules. Nobody's really gonna ask you so much questions. Understand the rules definitely first, understand the rules and try and master the techniques, and then now break them if you want to break them, or if they're making sense for you to break them. So look around you and you will find inspiration in elements ignored by other photographers and indifferent to most people. A lot of times you look at fine art photographers' work, especially people who don't do portraiture. I think I really love non-portrait fine art photographers Because, you know, the perspective on things is so interesting. Mtu atapiga ile dustbin alafu imeexhibitiwa na uko like, wow, I really couldn't see that, you know. And that's the thing we are saying, just look at your environment. And the most important thing is to train your vision and use your imagination to bring out something unique from ordinary situations. Ordinary situations, love may seem so ordinary, but then I can come up with a whole body of work centered around marriage, love, and you know, it's very interesting all of a sudden, and it's a whole new perspective that you didn't see. So, yeah, just look. Don't overlook things, or you can still just look at the environment. You always find something that will inspire you. Yeah, don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be too complicated and all that. Yeah. Next slide. So how do you work as a fine art photographer? How do you make money as a fine art photographer? It's very hard, not gonna lie. It's very, very hard, especially in the Kenyan economy or the Kenyan ecosystem or the Kenyan audience. Well, first of all, fine art photography, with its history, it took some time before art practitioners recognize fine art photography as a proper medium of art. It took some time before, until I even feel it until now. Not many people really respect us as artists. You know, it's not gonna be easy to sell you. People do buy prints, of course, especially in the country. The collectors are there, because that is one of the things that I really rely on, or works for me very well, is selling prints, selling them in galleries, working with galleries, and for art fairs. I don't know if you have art fairs such as Photo London, Photo Basel, exhibiting with different galleries outside. Yes, people love African art right now. There's a really huge focus on African art, but still, with fine art photography, to be honest, I feel like, you know, we still have to fight a little bit extra harder, or you have to work for some more time. And to be honest, that is the place that I was in last year. Early last year, I got signed to a gallery I work with. They're called ACA Project. They're a good gallery, of course. They have the spaces in Dubai and Venice, and Italy and all that. And they go to art fairs, which was an amazing opportunity. And I thought, finally, you know, I'm being recognized. I'm going to live the dream of a fine art photographer. Still, things took some time to pick off. And I felt, wow, this is going to be harder than I thought, you know. And after 5 years, 6 years, then you're thinking, you know, things should pick up. And I'm seeing my friends who we started this journey with, who are commercial photographers doing wedding, corporate things. They're doing well. They're doing well. Things have picked up for them because there is that market. But then for you, you're like, wow, I'm going to need another 5 years? No, for you to get to that stage. So yeah, it was kind of depressing, not going to lie. It was kind of depressing. And I think David kept calling me to come and do this talk. And I'm like, and tell people what? Myself, I don't think I'm doing the right thing. I'm not there yet, you know. Honestly, that was my reason for not coming last year. I really didn't feel like I was there, or I had something. Or I just felt very bad, honestly. It was very depressing. And what really got me out of that trench, or those trenches, was trying to sell NFTs, which is what worked for me. I think this is another avenue photographers can look at, because NFTs are really digital. You've heard of NFTs, right? Anybody maybe? No?
I think it would be good
to explain a little bit. Okay. So NFTs stands for non-fungible tokens. Okay, from an art, without getting even to the tech side of it, it's just or how I do it, I just sell my JPEG. I just sell my high resolution image. That's just what I do. The same way I sell the prints. People love collecting them. Yes, in prints, you send them, they're hanging in a gallery. This is a JPEG that you're just selling. And it's just that it's on the blockchain, and there's these transactions that, that they can be tracked. It's a more sophisticated way of selling a JPEG, I can say. But things are really, it's a very, very new medium. Not many people have gotten into it, but I think it's something that a lot of digital artists should look at. And for me, it was definitely easy to transition to that because one, my work is already photography, it's in digital form. So uploading it or making it as an NFT isn't that hard. It just involves you uploading something on like a website, even. It's a marketplace. You put the price on it. And that worked for me. I think getting to the community and then telling my story, my journey and all that, it's still work. It's still a lot of work because there's a lot of, marketing you have to do, and it's called community building. But the good thing is everybody's just on Twitter, especially right now, since it hasn't really blown out. Everything is on Twitter. You go on Twitter, follow all the NFT things. We have a Kenyan NFT community, by the way. Kenyan NFT Club, we are there. You just build a community around it and try and get collectors of your work. That worked for me, and I think that is something that really put my faith back in myself. And then the beauty about it is a community. One thing that is really, really key for anybody is community. And this is one good thing with Davasha, they have the community. Not that, you'll be nested and then peperuka, bas. There's a community. Then in the NFTs, there's also a community. The core of NFTs are really community. And yeah, networking and making friends and all that. That's how you're going to get collectors and all that. And that really, really worked for me. Having a community around me and making myself knowing that I'm not really alone. There are other fine photographers in the world, and they are doing it. Things are working out, so it will work out for you. Don't worry. Because I think something that was kind of making it hard for me before was the lack of community of like fine art photographers around you all the time. A lot of the photographers right now, of course, are very commercial people. So I felt very, very alone. Like, how many fine art photographers do we know here? I know Osborne, maybe, and I think he calls himself Afrofuture something. I know Thandiwe, at least I know Thandiwe Moreo. Who else? There are literally, you will utatafuta utrai kulistu watu. So you see, I felt very isolated, and that's why I was very, very unsure about this path, because you're feeling, in Kenya, where are you taking fine art photography? But still, I think I'm getting a little bit of some hope now. And yeah, you print things. If you want to merchandise, you can merchandise, of course. Because again, this is art, and you're just selling art. It's just a photograph, but it's art. You can look at it in that way. And then there's the galleries, and sometimes I can get commissions. Not exactly, somebody may not tell you, like, shoot for me this fine art piece I hang in my house, but people who want you to implement a certain style, or they know your vision, they understand your vision, how you look at things, and they want you to do maybe a documentary type of work or another type of work, and that's one way. And then there's the art collectors. Again, this ties back to galleries. People do collect this kind of work. And I think for you to be in that circle, or to be in that place where you're getting this kind of collectors collecting your work, you have first of all to get to that community, and by this you go to the galleries themselves. When there's a show, try and appear so that people know you. Again, everything is about networking. People know you. And I think the art community can be very secretive and all that, and this is the more reason why you should try and get yourself out there as much as possible, so that if opportunities come, people think about you. Sometimes, yes, I may have a show at one-off, and then people ask me, how did you get here? You will never see them putting up a call on Instagram saying, very few times, very, very few times. I think I saw them doing that maybe during COVID, and it's going to be very few instances where you'll see galleries putting out a call, apply for an exhibition. It's mostly they know you, and they just know your work has been recommended by somebody else, and then they come to you with an opportunity. Do you want to exhibit here? Are you interested in this art fair? So it's mainly about positioning yourself to the best possible audience. Of course, social media is there. Instagram is a very good platform for photographers because it's very visual oriented. For Instagram, Facebook, but a lot of times the opportunities are found in terms of exhibitions have been through networks and people knowing you and recommending for stuff, or even wanting to give you a solo show or to give you a show. yeah, and I think something we shouldn't be shy of is we have to learn how to sell ourselves through things like artist statements, understand the body of work that you're doing, understand the reason you're doing it. I know sometimes you may just do things randomly, again, image, which is fine, sema tu venye iko, mi nilichukua tu image. I don't know, it just came about. Or I just saw it and yeah, I know a lot of people, you may find them with a huge PDF of an artist statement. People have done their research, which comes maybe as you grow. As you grow, you learn how to put together a whole body of work with a certain style. And I think that's where I'm heading at. In 2019, 2020, or my early years, I was shooting like every month I had a project I'm putting out, or a few images I'm putting out. And that worked for me at that time, and what was inspiring me and my environment and my time, that worked for me. But right now I'm finding myself doing a bit more long-term projects where, you research for a long time, you look for funding to do something, and you bring it to life. And by that time, najua namaliza, I know there's a show that I'm planning to shoot for. Or, with galleries, like you may, like come January, maybe one of you can be next year, you have a solo show. The whole year you're gonna be creating work for you to show next year. And that works. I think in Kenya there's collectors, by the way. There is collectors in galleries. I had the solo show, not a solo show, it was a group show with 3 other photographers in January at one off. I think I saw her. Yeah, that's how we met. And that was a nice show. People did collect the pieces, and yeah, people do. I think maybe there's also that question of where are the photographers so that we can collect from them. Because we are saying there's no collectors, there's no market, but then maybe the collectors are asking the same question. There's no photographers, there's no artists putting out work. So we try and push ourselves out there. The collectors are there. Yeah. Next page. So yeah, I think coming to a final page is just some tips. Master the technical elements of photography. Know the rules so that you can break them if you want to break them, but it's definitely important that you know the rules and what you're doing. And creating a cohesive body of work and focusing on a subject is something very key you will see with a lot of fine art photographers. Remember, a lot of times we are trying to make money, or our work is being put out there through exhibitions. Exhibitions, how it makes just more sense establishing yourself as an artist with a whole, series or a whole body of work rather than individual portraits. Even looking at the people, somebody like Thandiwe Muri with her, she has a cameo, you've seen it, the cameo series she does. It's a whole body of work. And that makes sense when you're exhibiting it like right now she's in Art Fair 154. And that just makes way much more sense, or it's just better that way, because again, it can be a bit complex for people to understand. And if you have a lot of images or a lot of work that it's sort of telling a story, it's way more now understandable, and it's just way better for you to present yourself and your work rather than single images. I think you can do it in faces though. You can always do it I think that's what I do with my bride series. I did it in faces. I was putting out 4 images, maybe 3, 2, 1. But at the end of the day, with your artist statement I'm writing, it's a continuing body of work. Sijamaliza. By 2025, nitakuwa na series kama, like 500 images or something out of it. But yeah, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. So 500 is a lot. Even 10, 5, it's just a body of work that makes sense, or is telling the story together. So do a lot of experimentation. This is my thing. I love to experiment a lot, and I have done that over the whole years I've been doing photography. It has been a lot of experimentation. Not gonna lie. Sometimes it works. Sometimes shoot unaenda unatoka tu na picha moja tu, and it's fine. I think with my green image, I only got 1 picture out of that shoot. And the whole series, yes, there's other images, but it doesn't make sense including it. Like, experiment, always stay open-minded, and study the works of great photographers. Hey, you're spelling it.
The one who doesn't know. They are
Study
levels
of photographers. look at the works of other photographers around you. Maybe they may inspire you. Just think how they do things and maybe how they work around things. You don't have to do the things that they do, but you can just, there's always opportunity to learn from somebody else. I think, so I don't know where I saw it, Twitter, somebody was saying, you know, self-taught is such a overrated word. You don't learn by yourself, you know, unless you're living in an island. You can learn from somebody else. A lot of us have done that. We learn from each other, and that's how we grow. Yeah, and I think I'm done. Late comers. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Nirudie.
I just heard the word done.
I don't know if anyone has questions. This is Murky Waters, one of my most, what is it, precious series. It's another body of work with like 8-10 images. And I shot this in Magadi. Again, taking risks, all my last pennies. I got a good job, a commission somewhere. Every single cent from that job. Like, let's go to Magadi. And it's a whole drive, buying props, hongaing people to shoot there. No, I didn't honga anybody and all that. But still, I think for me, I see the vision, I'm inspired by something, nothing is going to stop me. I have to do it, I have to do it. And I think with everything in life, you have to be really, really driven. You have to be really, really driven for you to be able to achieve something. And yeah, I was doing this with the purpose of exhibiting it at somewhere, just somewhere in Kenya. I don't remember where it was. Then that didn't work out after all, EBD, and then I don't know what happened with that whole gallery thing. But then, anyway, the next year, this was my first solo show in London in 2020 with the whole collection in a gallery, Murky Waters, which was really a huge thing for me. I just minted this as NFTs also, which worked out. I mean, yeah, having a collection or a whole body of work will always be a plus thing, or it just makes you more, what can I say, of a serious fine art photographer? I don't know. Yeah, but that is that. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I hope you learned something. That was nice.